200 million years ago, the world was completely different because all the countries were stuck together. This was called Pangea.
Did you know Pan means all, entire, whole, and Gea means Mother Earth? During this time, Australia was connected to Africa.
Because all the continents were connected together, the Aboriginal people are related to the Asian, African, and European people.
When Pangaea drifted apart, this formed the Atlantic Ocean.
This was how the Aboriginal people became the first Australians.
After many millions of years, the world became what it looks like today.
The Aboriginals have been living on Australia for over 60,000 years. Australia has been their home for thousands of years before European settlers came in 1788.
Australia was very different during Aboriginal time. There were no buildings or roads, only bush and land. The Aboriginal people always treated Australia with respect. They never wasted food and they never took more what they needed from their land. Every animal they hunted, they used every part of the animal.
They learned how to use the environment wherever they were, in the jungle or desert or river valleys, on coasts or grasslands or swamps. The Aboriginals have a spiritual connection with the land. Their Dreamtime stories help them to explain how their gods created the world.
Since the white settlers came to Australia, life for the Aboriginal people have never been the same. Their land was taken, their culture was destroyed, and their people were killed.
This was a very sad part of Australian history.
In the 1700s, England was the richest and most powerful country in the world.
At the time King George III was in charge of England, England was so rich it had 13 colonies, and America used to be one of the colonies.
But the Americans did not like how the English treated them, so they fought back and had a war.
Then in 1760, many people in England became very poor during the Industrial Revolution.
Most people in England worked on farms. Machines began to take over people's jobs because one machine can do the job of 100 people.
The poor people could not find work, so they became very poor. They had no choice but to steal food and clothes from the rich.
England's jail became very full and they could not hang all the criminals. King George III decided to send the criminals to the unknown island Captain James Cook discovered in 1770. He asked Captain Arthur Phillip to be in charge of setting up the new colony on the unknown island.
On the 13th May 1787, Captain Arthur Phillips led 11 ships carrying 778 criminals to Australia.
On January 26, 1788, the first fleet arrived in Botany Bay in New South Wales. During 1700s, the English people were very poor because machines were taking over their jobs. Many people had to steal to survive. The jails in England were becoming too full and they couldn't hang all the criminals. King George III decided to send the criminals to the unknown island that Captain James Cook found in 1770. He asked Captain Arthur Phillips to be in charge of setting the new colony of the unknown island called New South Wales. Captain Arthur Phillips took a whole year to organize all the things they will need to start up a new colony. He brought with him male and female animals such as turkeys, geese, ducks, chickens, puppies, kittens, sheep, goats, and rabbits. He also took plants and crops to set up new farms, including fig trees, apples, pear, and strawberry plants. Most importantly, he brought food as well as equipment to build new houses to set up the new colony. He even took with him a piano. Once Captain Arthur Phillips organized and packed the 11 ships, the first fleet left England on May the 13th, 1787.
The 11th ship carried more than 1,480 men, women, and children on board.
778 convicts were on board. Some of the convicts were orphan children who stole clothes and food that cost around 5 to 10 shillings.
Passengers on the first fleet were mostly British people, but there were also African, American, and French people. Discipline on the ships were very harsh. Convicts were often whipped when they did not do the right things.
20 convicts died along the journey, and the soldiers had to chuck them overboard.
The convicts were not given a lot to eat. They were given bread with a bit of salted beef. Sometimes they got some peas and rice.
On the way, they stopped at Rio de Janeiro and then in Cape Town to get supplies.
The journey to Australia took about 250 days until they arrived in New South Wales. And on the 26th of January, they arrived in Botany Bay.
First contact. Australia has changed in many different ways since the white settlers came.
When the white settlers arrived in Australia, there was only trees, bushes and grass. They thought that no one lived here. They saw strange animals that they'd never seen before. When the Aboriginals first met the white settlers, they thought that they were ghosts and spirits.
The Aboriginal people tried to welcome the white settlers. At first, the white settlers tried to be nice to the Aboriginal people.
One of the soldiers painted a picture of the white settler dancing with the Aboriginal people.
But soon they started to not get along. They were not able to communicate and were confused.
The white settlers began to take the Aboriginal people's land to build their new home and colony.
Trees have been chopped to clear land for new buildings.
This made the Aboriginal people lose their home. The white settlers soon began to treat the Aboriginal people very badly.
The Aboriginal people got so angry when the white settlers treated them badly.
The white settlers also brought animals like sheep, rabbit and cane toad. This killed many native animals.
The white settler also brought with diseases like smallpox, which spread and killed many Aboriginal people.
The Aboriginal people's culture has also been destroyed because many of their elders have died before they could pass it on or teach the people in their community.
Today, there are cities all over Australia. People from different countries come to live in Australia. Today, everyone tries to live together in a peaceful way.
I am, you are, we are Australia.